All right, so we give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. Peter, John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they was testified me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Well, all praise be to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Let's jump over here to Psalm. We're pretty much good in Psalm 37. You will, and we might reference back. Psalms 35 and 1. Plead my cause, O Yahuah, with them that strive with me. Fight against them that fight against me. Take hold of shield and buckler and stand up for my help. Draw out also the spear and stop the way against them that persecute me. Say unto my soul, I am your salvation. Let them be confounded and put to shame that seek after my soul. Let them be turned back and brought to confusion that devise my hurt. Let them be as chaff before the wind, and let the Malachim of Yahuwah chase them. Let their way be dark and slippery, and let the Malachim of Yahuwah persecute them. For without cause have they hid for me their net in a pit, which without cause they have digged for my soul. Let destruction come upon him at unawares, and let his net that he hath hid catch himself into that very destruction, let him fall. And my soul shall be joyful in Yahuwah, it shall rejoice in his salvation. All my bones shall say, Yahuwah, who is like unto you, who delivers the poor from him that is too strong for him, yea, the poor and needy from him that spoil him. False witnesses did rise up. They laid to my charge things that I knew not. They rewarded me evil for good to the spoiling of my soul. But as for me, when they were sick, clothing was sackcloth. I humbled my soul with fasting, and my prayer returned into my own bosom. I behaved myself as though he had been my friend or brother. I bowed down heavily as one that mourned for his mother. But in my adversity, they rejoiced and gathered themselves together. Yea, the abjects gathered themselves together against me, and I knew it not. And they did tear me and cease not. With hypocritical mockers and feasts, they gnashed upon me with their teeth. Now we'll stop right there at verse 15 and then begin our process of getting some manner of understanding of the verses that we just read. So when we go back to verse 1, and for some of you, it should have been quite apparent the things that you heard. And of course, again, it'll take us still back to the point of Mark the perfect man. You know what I'm saying? Behold his righteousness, for the end of that man is peace, and that how the steps of a good man or order are established by Yahuwah. Now, of course, you should know at this point in time, when you're dealing with plead, we're looking at contend, to make a complaint, to contend against, that is read. He wants Yahuwah to contend with those who contend with him. Now, of course, there was a question asked that we didn't get a chance to. Now, here with contend, you have contender, opponent, adversary, your reb, Yad, Raj, and Bat, to someone who wants to come and contend. And again, that is dealing with strive with me, if I'm not mistaken. I was moving kind of quick, thinking about the next thing that I was about to mention, which that's to strive with me and fight against. The fight is lakam, that's the fight, to do battle, to make war, to engage in battle with them that fight against me. Now, there was a question asked by Stanley asked about it. Get around to it. Somebody else called and asked. I think his purpose of wanting to know was a tad bit different. But let's go take a look at it over here in Zechariah chapter 5. You can go straight to verse 1. Zechariah chapter 5 and verse 1. Ain't gonna be no baseball this year. Wonder what they trying to use that for. I know everybody sees stuff and like, oh, it's for distraction. But most of the time, it's for a particular reason, to get a desired reaction out of the people to further whatever particular agenda that they're trying to push. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think most people even understand or know how much they get manipulated, why they're getting manipulated, and the purpose of said manipulation. Nevertheless, shalom, man. You know what I'm talking about? Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1. So I had to make sure by the grace of Elohim, I picked a good song that would go along with what this here is talking about. Of course, everybody, I told y'all last week, niggas all scared. I tell you, every time something happens, niggas get scared. These boys don't really want them. You know what I'm saying? Niggas find the most banal, irrelevant things to bandy back and forth about, and thinking that and then call themselves rejoicing in the righteousness of Elohim, feeling like Yahuah is dealing with them. That man laughing at them because you're stupid. You know what I'm saying? And you know you stupid, but not stupid as if you're a void of intelligence. You're not a faithful and just man who trusts him with your whole entire mind, heart, and soul because of the things that you like to go back and forth about, the things that you like to do, the stuff that a lot of these young men and older men do as in regards to trying to get attention for themselves and saying that they're doing the will of Yahuah and think that nobody can't see that you acting like a whole out here. We see it, you know what I'm saying? Some people recognize it for what it is, and some people don't. Some people just don't want to believe it for what it is, you know what I'm saying? And try to convince themselves otherwise. But you got a lot of feminine men out here, man, talking about they doing the work of Yahuah, bringing abject shame to the man name. Nevertheless, Zechariah 5 and 1. Then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. So let's pause. He said he looked up into heavens and saw a flying roll. Let me go ahead and give you some background information. Revelation chapter 14. And if you could go ahead and hit that like button so we can jump up in the algorithm, that would be appreciated. And again, if you didn't know, the channel's not monetized. So views, clicks, likes, and all that don't put no money in nobody's pocket. That's just so we can get to 1,000 subscribers, and now we can go live on the phone at any given time. Revelation chapter 14. Do I want verse 1? I definitely don't. We want verse 6. Because he said he lifted up his eyes, he beheld a flying roll. I'll give you what you got for a flying roll. Flying in this particular instance is oof, ayin, oo, and pay. It's called to fly, brandish, fly away, be dark, fly away, shout, to fly. And of course, roll is megalah in this instance, which is a roll, a book, or a writing. Meme, Gamal, Lamad, and hey is what they have here for right on the back end. Of course, when you see with this roll, you see some teaching going on. Of course, you got that meme, and you got some good old water or some ruach going on with a good old Gamal, and you have messenger going on. You know what I'm talking about? Got some hay, and maybe it's the man with raised arms. Maybe you're beholding. But either way it going, you're beholding the spiritual teachings of the messenger, which is in this roll, book, and writing, which takes us back to, you better search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life. And they're talking about me. Revelation 14 and 6. And I saw another Malachim fly in the midst of Shamahim, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, to every nation, kindred, tongue, and people, saying with a loud voice, fear Elohim and give esteem to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made Shamahim and the Arats and the seas and the fountain and the waters. Now, why is this important for us to stop right here and focus on that? And you can go back to Zechariah, by the way. Number one, ain't no everlasting gospel. See, pause. Matthew 24. Let me do that. Before you go back to Zechariah 5. Matthew 24. Let me do that. Matthew chapter 24. You can pick this up at verse 8. Matthew 24 and 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. I done told y'all this before, and I'm going to tell you again. You know it ain't at the end. They not going to kill you because you a Hebrew. They damn sure ain't going to kill you because you America. You let these boys give you the bad dope if you want to. You know what I'm saying? See, I know some of y'all, man, when you was in the world, man, y'all like smoking garbage reefer, man, and pretending like you was high and all that stuff you're doing ain't no different than people that like to buy knockoff clothing. That ain't real. But you want to push it off as, make you feel better about yourself because you just didn't take the time to stack a shekel on top of a shekel, a dollar on top of a dollar, and actually just purchase what it is that you wanted. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't like quality. They want quantity. They like trash. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on that. I would rather have quality things. You understand? And I'll pay for it. You know what I'm talking about? I'll definitely spend good money for something of high quality. You know what I'm talking about? See, let me put it to you this way, right? You have certain things when you look at life, and then you have luxury items. See, the word of Yahuah is a luxury item. You know what I'm saying? It comes with a great cost. Got to pay a great cost to get it. And that cost is your life. You know what I'm talking about? And a lot of people don't want to pay that cost. So that's why they come up with all these bad doctrines and all these bad teachings to make you feel good about yourself. I'm sitting here trying to tell you, man, most of the Hebrews is giving you their version of a Christian teaching at the end, to where those who actually stand firm for the righteousness, goodness, and faith of the living Elohim in the name of his son, that they can skirt the ability to be persecuted and die for his name. Shalom, good brother. You understand? A lot of dudes don't want nothing to do with that. Man, ain't nobody out here trying to deliver you up and kill you and persecute you. Ain't nobody of all these races of people hating you for the name of Yahushua. That's not happening out here. And if you think because Russia went into Ukraine and you scared about a World War III and you think that's going to pop that off, you a special type of stupid. Go ahead and close the book up and live your life, man, because you don't believe what you're reading. You just out here doing what you want to do under the guise of the faithful Elohim. But we see through that. We're not stupid. We see what you're doing. Let's continue. Then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. That's not going on out here in the earth, man. These people worshiping other gods openly and blatantly and for fun. I literally just watched a Dr. Phil clip. I actually listened to the whole 40 minutes just to hear how this white dude was slaying this tranny. Talking about you can't make up your own pronouns. And the logical thesis that he attacked these people with, which they had no rebuttal for because they couldn't rebut it. You know what I'm talking about? It was hilarious. And there's this grown man on here with long hair and a beard. Not the fact that he had long hair, but the fact that he believed he was a woman and felt like everybody else should take the time to understand why he believed that he is a woman. You know what I'm talking about? That's what's proliferated in the earth right now, man. They was in here talking about how they teaching these little children about gender neutral pronouns and things of this nature. Ain't no cavalcade of flowing of the death, burial, and resurrection and the righteousness of the Son of Elohim in the earth where people understand that they better repent or die. You know what I'm talking about? That's not what's going on out here, man. You know what I'm talking about? That's not what's happening out here. Ain't nobody looking at you talking about you one of them Yahuah people. I hate you. That's not what's happening out here. That's not what's happening out here. 99.9% of y'all are living very peaceable lives where no one is saying anything or doing anything to you in a negative fashion because of your proclamation and belief in the name of the only begotten Son of the Father in heaven, Yahushua HaMashiach. Not a single solitary one of y'all has suffered any manner of persecution or tribulation by the hands of another human being because of that. That's not happening. You know what I'm saying? And what we'll end up doing, you know what I'm talking about? What we end up doing is what you call it? We end up trying to project your own stupidity when your people call you into question for some of the, you know what I'm saying, janky things that these niggas be out here doing. They persecuting me. Them people ain't persecuting you, boy. You keep bothering them people about something that they done told you they don't want to hear and don't want to do. You have to manufacture persecution in your own mind. You don't understand how feminine and delusional that is, boy. It's something wrong with you, boy. It's something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? You got to start pulling these dude coattails, man. We'll post about all type of stuff online. I myself, I do not. Those days are long gone for me. I ain't posting nothing. You know what I'm saying? About no word, no nothing. You know what I'm talking about? You know what my trap house at. You can come copy from there. I ain't posting nothing about nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Period, point blank. And if I do, I put it in the group where y'all at. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't posting nothing for nobody. You know what I'm talking about? I did it. I've done it. I ain't doing it no more. You know what I'm talking about? I can't even, it ain't got nothing to do with the Western country, honestly, brother. You know what I'm saying? It ain't got nothing to do with the West because everybody is chilling everywhere. It's not that we're too comfortable. You know what I'm saying? It's that it's not that time. It's not that time. See, we're supposed to be getting resolute in our faith so when that time comes, you don't fold. You know what I'm saying? This is your training period. See, this is a conversation we didn't had in the past. Y'all, those of y'all who know me know I train regularly. You know what I'm talking about? 4-5 days a week. You know what I'm saying? About the last 6-7 weeks, 5 days a week. You know what I'm talking about? You train yourself. You get yourself prepared. So when you actually got to do something, it's second nature. You don't even have to think. You know what I'm talking about? See, right now it's the preparation for you to be able to hold fast to the word. See, let me read this Isaiah chapter 8 for you one time. Come over here for the one time. Isaiah 8:13. That's all I want. That's all I want. But you know what? I make it verse 11. Make it 9, man. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. Because everybody in the world chilling. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody who profess to believe in Ruach and the truth is getting bothered by anybody anywhere in the earth. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about, you know what I'm saying, Christian people in other countries where they have these contrived conflicts where you don't even know if people been killed or not, truth be told. You don't even know. Like at this point, you generally, I ain't saying that everything that come through the TV isn't real, but you have to be prepared for contrived events. Y'all ain't sat back and paused how they got all these nice photo ops for all these Ukrainian people, and specifically them taking photo ops of Ukrainian women primed and prepped and ready for war. That's an insult to your intelligence. They know that you won't even question it. You know. Sit back, you already know when war go down, ain't no woman trying to fight, and you got time to do photo ops, my nigga? You in the middle of a war and a siege, and y'all got time to do photo ops, to be perfectly maked up, hair in perfect position in the pose? Come on, man, pay attention, but before your face, they insulting your intelligence. That don't mean that they ain't doing nothing, but it ain't what you think it is. You know what I'm saying? You think it's this because you nervous in your soul. So you scared to die. Oh, they gonna come get us. World War III coming. That's how you know that they know they don't take you seriously, because they know you're gonna make memes and videos and joke about it. So they know they can go do whatever it is that they trying to do to make the move that they trying to move, because they don't take the populace serious, because the populace don't take themselves serious. You know what I'm talking about? And they know this. Niggas take real offense and either panic or play. You know what I'm talking about? Man, brother said something the other day, man. That boy said something dead real, man. Like they said, boy, I'm not a child. I don't play with churn, man. I don't want to do no junk that churn do. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have fun with no churn. That ain't my job. You know what I'm talking about? That's not my job. My job is to raise. I don't want to have fun with this nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Because he ain't going to remember the fun. He only going to remember the instruction. You know what I'm talking about? So a lot of dudes in this word, man, they want to have fun. Everything got to be entertaining, this, that, there, and the third. And that's why when they go down, they're not going to remember the instruction. Because too many dudes sought to have fun and make friends and do X, Y, Z instead of making sure they got that instruction so they could be ready. So you can be able to hold it down when that person who instructed you ain't present. That word could forever be with you. See, them boys ain't on that type of time, man. They want to we got next and play dress up, play with swords and all this extra stuff these niggas be doing, man. You know what I'm talking about? But they ain't got nothing that's going to stay with you after they gone. That's why he said in Isaiah 50, speak a word in due season, man. Somebody speak a word in due season. That means that word gonna stay with you long after they gone. See, the word of Elohim abide forever. That word been lasting long after the man been gone, long before he actually stepped foot on the earth in a physical form, and long after he ascended back to his throne. That word's still here and going. And you got to ask yourself, if you disseminating information, is the information staying with the party who you gave it to, or is you trying to be their friend, or is you trying to have fun? You got to understand your role. That means they ain't going to take you seriously. As a man, if you're in a role of a leader and instructor and all you want to do is have fun, who the hell going to take you seriously? Definitely not your constituency. They're not going to take you seriously. They're going to look at you as a big joke. So then when you do try to be serious, you have to overexert yourself and show a raw brute force of masculinity. Don't happen. That's why you have a lot of young men get frustrated and they snap. You know what I'm talking about? But that's neither here nor there. Isaiah 8 and 9. Associate yourselves, O you people, and you shall be broken in pieces. Give ear, all you of far countries. Gird yourselves, you shall be broken in pieces. Gird yourselves, you shall be broken in pieces. Take counsel together, and it shall come to nothing. Speak the word, and it shall not stand. Elohim is with us. For Yahuwah spake thus to me with a strong hand and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of this people, saying, say you not a confederacy to all whom this people shall say a confederacy, neither fear you their fear, nor be afraid. Sanctify Yahuwah of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. You don't need to be worrying, be fearing what these people fear. Just go ahead and set apart Yahuwah in your heart, man, and let him be your fear. Every bit of fear you got, see, let me go ahead and do it while I did it. It popped up on the phone earlier this week. Come on over here to 2 Timothy chapter 1. You know what it is. Nobody don't care about James Harden. James Harden don't care about James Harden. Second Timothy chapter 1. All right, I guess you could do verse 4. Now, I'm with you on that, not necessarily be gullible, but it's not even that people gullible. People don't think. You know what I'm saying? People don't think. And they don't respect your level of intelligence. They know that most people want to be entertained because that's the society that they created. You have to ask yourself as a man, once you get to a certain age, why do you have such a desire to be entertained? You know what I'm talking about? If your desire to be entertained overrides your desire to learn and to grow and to build, you have a problem. See, what happens when you have a mind that only desires to be entertained, you consistently and constantly stay in a childlike state. When you stay in a childlike state, you don't have the ability to logically and critically think. Therefore, you don't have the ability to bring forth solutions to problems. Therefore, you don't have the ability to have the stick-to-itiveness to do something over the long haul when it's uncomfortable. You know what I'm talking about? So you're always seeking a release. You know what I'm talking about? See, you always people, I need to blow off some steam. I need to do this. And every now and again in life, you need to do that. But as a man, you're supposed to be in perpetual motion. This forth is grinding and building something for an extended period of time. Why do you always need to stop? You know what I'm saying? That's what it came in. You got to take care of your mental health. Well, your mental health is only falling apart because you don't know who you are as a man. You're not firm and resolute in your character and your personality. You're all over the place. So therefore, that's why you feel like you need a mental health break. And then also we know that most of these young men are incompetent and don't have any ambition and don't desire to possess skills to be competent, don't have the mental and intestinal fortitude to make the sacrifices necessary to be great and to have success, nor have the stick-to-itiveness to do something over a consistently long period of time in order to derive the fruits thereof. So therefore it causes a mental breakdown in your mind and in your heart and in your spirit. Not to mention the niggas be broke. A lot of niggas be going through it just because they broke. You know what I'm saying? And most of these men on here can tell you the worst they ever felt in their life because they ain't had no money. You know what I'm talking about? There's a reason why the book say money answer all things. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the love for it, but I guarantee you, if you ain't had no money and somebody came and dropped $20,000 in your lap, you're going to feel a hell of a lot better than you did before when you ain't had no money. And the reason why I say that when you had no money, because now you're stressing. You worrying about how you're going to do this and how you're going to do that and how you're going to do this. Even more so if you got people depending on you. You know what I'm talking about? Stuff really be simple, man. A lot of stuff dudes be talking about mental health, man. Hey, man, nigga broke. That nigga ain't got no money, man. You know what I'm saying? And if the other half is because he can't get no woman and his whole mind is wrapped around the fact of getting a woman, since he can't get no woman, he's mentally breaking down. And then you have some that they dealing with real deal stuff. Something happened to them or they can't figure out life. Ain't nobody really gave them the proper instruction for them to discern what it is to be a man and navigate life, and they just fold under depression. You know what I'm saying? It's a multitude of things that make dudes down. It's only a handful of people like, yeah, there's something really wrong with him. You know what I'm saying? But most of the time, it's stuff that you got going on in your life that can be fixed with just a little bit of direction and some focus. You know what I'm talking about? You live in an unfocused society, man. You live in a society, especially for men, where they don't want you to be a man. So therefore, because they don't want you to be a man, you don't cultivate the ability to cope with the things that men cope with. And then, of course, because you live in a society where you're usually raised by women and you're taught to be overly emotional, that allows your emotions to engulf you and to ensnare you and to destroy you, because you're not given the tools from another man to be able how to manage your emotions. You know what I'm saying? Not that you're going to cast them away, but that you can manage them. Because a woman can't give you that. She can't give you that insight. She can't give you that ability to be able to, son, this is how you feel an emotion, but how you manage it to the point that it doesn't destroy you. Your mama can't teach you that because she needs you to do that for her. So how's she going to teach it to you? Nevertheless, Matthew chapter 24, man. I think I started at verse 10. I did. We can pick it up at verse 11. It is, but also we'd have to take that into account. That's dealing with brothers who got the word, meaning that that seed was dropped. What I just referenced just now is I ain't necessarily talking about people who receive that seed, but most definitely the cares and affairs of this life. I'm sorry, I was supposed to be in 2 Timothy chapter 1, wasn't it? That's my bad. I give you a chance to get back around now. That's my fault. My phone went blank, and I was looking at the book in front of me and forgot about that. Most definitely, but the cares and affairs of this life choke off that seed, or that they're not going to get the joy, the peace, the long suffering, the gentleness, the goodness, and the self-control that the word would produce. Now, that's definitely a strong factor. But what I really was just referencing is then people who not even in the word don't even know how to be men. You know what I'm saying? We're not even being instructed on how to be men because ain't no men around. You know what I'm saying? Which then causes the woman to feel like she can do what a man can do and try to fill that role. And then she's woefully inept in that endeavor. And it just leads to the destruction of the minds of young men. You know what I'm saying? That's nothing wrong. That doesn't mean, oh, these women are just horrible and this, that, there, and the third. They're just being asked to do something that's not in their wheelhouse. I can't be mad at somebody because they can't do something that's not in their wheelhouse. If it's not in your wheelhouse, it's not in your wheelhouse. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the tools and the skills to pull that off. You're not going to call a plumber to do an electrician's job and then get mad at the plumber because he didn't know how to wire a house. That's not what they do. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 4. Greatly desiring to see you, being mindful of your tears, that I may be filled with joy when I call to remembrance the unfeigned faith that is in you, which dwelt first in your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice, and persuaded that in you also, and I am persuaded that in you also. Wherefore I put you in remembrance that you stir up the gift of Elohim, which is in you, by putting on of my hands. For Elohim have not given us the ruach of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Y'all know that 1 John 4:18 tell you perfect love cast out fear, because fear have torment. So the ruach of Elohim that rests upon you, there's no fear. It's simply the power of Elohim, the love of Elohim, and the sound mind. We'll get the Greek interpretation of sound mind for you right fast. You can come on back over here to Matthew 24 if you would. When you look at sound mind, it's sophron ismos, admonishing, calling to soundness, but the direct self-control. So when the ruach of Elohim is with us, it gives us a self-control, the love of Elohim, golly, and the power of Elohim. No, that gets you. No, the actual Greek definition, it ain't stable on that one. It's literally moderation. Literally moderation. Literally self-control. Which goes back to your last point of when you get caught up with the cares and affairs of this life, when you sow amongst the thorns, it chokes off the word and you don't have the self-control. We'll go back to what I'm talking about being consumed by your emotions. You know what I'm saying? Once a man hit 30 years old, it really should be before then. But once a man get hit 30 years old, your emotions should no longer have any control over your actions. You know what I'm saying? That's once you hit 30 years old, that's unacceptable for a 30-year-old man to still be moved by his emotions as forth as his decision making and his actions. That's quite shameful, to be honest with you. You know what I'm talking about? It really should be before then. It really should be by the time you hit 21. You know what I'm talking about? But we have to understand the society we live in, that we're not being instructed to do that at 21. So you live in your teens and your entire 20s to learn how not to be emotional and to learn not to have emotional decision making. Matthew chapter 24, verse 11. Many false prophets shall rise and deceive many, And because of iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached into all the world for a witness unto all nations. Then shall the end come. Just like what you seen that angel, that Malachim doing in Revelation chapter 14. That's not what's going on out here in this earth, man. You around here telling people that you a Hebrew, that's not the gospel. That's a witness unto all nations. That's not a witness in heaven. Remember, my witness is in heaven and my record is on high. The witness is to bear witness to the coming king. Remember what he told you in Isaiah 52:7, how beautiful are the feet of him upon the mountains, to bring good tidings, glad tidings of good, to publish peace, that say to Zion, your Elohim is king. You understand? So when you bring forth the good news, you bring forth that there is redemption from sin and death, and that Elohim will sit upon his throne and reign. It ain't got nothing to do with you. It ain't got nothing to do with none of your concerns or none of them cares that you got going on in the earth. That man say, let it be known, Elohim reign. Let me get it for the people in the back don't know what I'm talking about. And then we go back to Zechariah chapter 5, Isaiah 52:7. Shoot, man, you can make it verse 3 on general principle. Notice again how you see that Ruach Elohim according to what Paul wrote to Timothy. How the Ruach Elohim give you the love of Elohim, which of course you see that's why the love of many going to wax cold. Give you the power of Elohim, which gives you the ability to overcome, and then the self-control. Self-control in the mind is the greatest attribute that a man can possess, because then he cannot be controlled by any outside stimuli. You know what I'm saying? When you can get yourself to the point where you can't be controlled by outside stimuli, that means you can't be manipulated. When you can't be manipulated, that means you can't be deceived. And when you can't be deceived, that means you steadfast and rock steady with the living Elohim. You cannot be moved, like he told you in Psalms 127. Nevertheless, Isaiah 52:3. For thus saith Yahuah, you have sold yourselves for nothing, and you shall be redeemed without money. For thus saith Yahuah Elohim, my people went down aforetime in the Mizraim to sojourn there, and the Assyrian oppressed them without cause. Now, therefore, what have I have here, saith Yahuah, my people is taken away for nothing. They that rule over them make them to howl and say continually, make them to howl, saith Yahuah, and my name continually every day is blasphemed. Indeed, good brother, indeed, they definitely are. Therefore, my people shall know my name, and therefore, in that day, he that do speak, behold, it is I. How beautiful are upon the mountains are the feet of him that bring good tidings, that publish shalom, that bring good tidings of good, that publish salvation, that saith unto Zion, your Elohim is Malach, your Elohim reigns, your Elohim is king. You understand? Look at what he say, publish peace and publish good tidings. Well, we know peace, shalom, destroy authority attached to chaos. Well, what was the authority that was destroyed that was attached to chaos? John 16 on general principle. I did let the Lord tell it to you one good time on general principle. 16:7, straight to the point. We get back to Zechariah 5. All this just dealing with him seeing a flying robe. You understand? Now, see, I gave the brother who hit me up Sunday the short version. You know what I'm talking about? But y'all get all the work. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Now, you know what I'm talking about? Unless you cop regularly, you can't hit my phone and get all the work, man. You can't hit my phone talking about, hey, man, I want an ounce. But then you ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna front you no ounce, man. I'll front you a quarter. You know what I'm saying? I give you $7 grand. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna give you $7 grand, man. I'm gonna give you a ball, man. I'm gonna give you $3.5 grand, man. You don't get out and fight. You know what I'm saying? You can have that because we got plenty of work around here. But my people, they get fronted to work. They get that, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, man. Get you 2, 3 of them, man. Shoot. Get you the whole brick. Take it with you. You know what I'm talking about? And take that with you. You ain't gonna come around here and try to chip off me. You know what I'm talking about? No, that's not how that works. Not at least for my people's get it. My people got to get served first. That's how that works. You know what I'm talking about? They got to get that work first. You can't get it first. Not in depth. 16:7. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth, it is expedient for you that I go away. For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him unto you. And when he has come, he will reprove the world of sin. Understand this here, that when the Ruach HaKodesh come through, it's going to correct or reprove or rebuke the world for their rebellion, of righteousness and of judgment, of their rebellion because they believe not me. See, to believe not in Yahushua is literal rebellion to the instruction that the Father gave as per Deuteronomy 18. of righteousness because I go to my Abba and you see me no more, and of judgment because the prince of this world is judged. You understand? When you look at all that, boy, your Elohim reigns. You need to let that be known. See, we don't want to let that be known because you don't really want to jump out there because you're scared to be seen a particular type of way. And you know what it is? You're scared to be seen as a dutiful and faithful servant that does not desire any attention or want or need for anything to be towards them, but all esteem belonging to he who deserves it, which is the living Elohim himself. He the only one need esteem and attention. What you need attention for? That man told his apostles, when you get finished doing what you're doing, say we are unprofitable servants, just doing what it is our duty to do. That's the mind you're supposed to have if you say you're going to minister his word. You just an unprofitable servant. You're just doing your job. But most of us don't understand the thought process of duty. You can't understand duty when you're selfish. When you think everything got to revolve around you and what you want versus your duty to the responsibilities that are before you, then you ain't never going to understand what it is to be unprofitable. To not seek gain. Now, that's different if you're the head of your own household. You got to seek gain. That's your house. That's your kingdom. You'd be a fool not to. You know what I'm talking about? See, we're talking about something bigger than that. You know what I'm talking about? We're seeking something bigger than that. When you come together with a collective for a common cause, can't be selfish. It's got to be about the cause. You know what I'm saying? That's why he was telling them, you are unprofitable servant. I'm just doing what it is my duty to do. Because there's a cause that's bigger than them. They can't be concerned with what it is that they want. They can't be concerned with, see, and that's why, but that's a different deal. That's why a lot of things with the word don't go the way that it go, because people don't see themselves. Most people want to be a part of something bigger than them, but then they suffer when they don't get the attention that they feel like they deserve. You know what I'm talking about? And it ruins the play. But that's another conversation for another day. Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1. That's why you see a lot of infighting with dudes who say they teaching the word and dudes be arguing and fighting about doctrines and this, that, there, and the third. Because ain't nobody really coming to be a part of something bigger than themselves. Dudes just coming to be seen, saying they doing something. That's it. Look at what I'm doing. You gonna see what we doing out here? We doing the work. Instead of just doing the work. You see me, you see me, you don't. Either way it go, the work getting done. You know what I'm talking about? If you made beats, somebody had to see you make the beats, or do they hear the beat? You understand? If you are an inventor and you make inventions or whatever it is that you may do, somebody got to see you doing it to validate the fact that it was done? Or do they see the end result and see the benefit and profit that it brings to the marketplace by solving the problems of the people who needed said product or service? That's all that need to be done. You don't need to see me doing nothing. And I don't need to tell you about it neither. My work going to speak for itself. Nevertheless, Zechariah 5:1. And I'm telling you that because that's what the Lord did. He didn't get fame by telling people, look at me. You know what I'm saying? The people spoke about, boy, that man got some good work. Boy, I ain't never heard nobody talk like he talked. He don't talk like the scribes. He talk as one having authority. This is a different type of dude. I ain't never seen nothing like this before. You understand? Amen, brother. Zechariah 5:1 again. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. He said unto me, what see you? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then he said unto me, this is the curse that go over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that steal shall be cut off as on his side according to it. Everyone that swear shall be cut off as on that side according to it. Does any of y'all have any idea what he could mean when he says anybody that steals? Steal, if you would like to know, is ganab. That is to steal away, to be brought by stealth, to secretly bring and steal away. He said, anyone that steal, he said, this is the curse that go over the face of the whole earth, according to this flying roll, that anybody that takes away, curse, just so you know, is a law. That's a curse. That's an oath of a covenant, a curse from Elohim, an execration, an oath, or swearing. This is what's going over the whole earth. The curse that go over the face of the whole earth. Everyone that steals as on the side according to it, and like this here is chemo, that is like as, the like of which, when according as it were. So anybody who wants to grab away and take away that flying roll or something like unto it, and also wants to swear in that same fashion, is going to be cut off. Swear, of course, you should know, is Shabbat. That is to adjure, to swear by Yahuah himself, or to take an oath. So again, you have to sit back and look at what's going on. Anybody who's going to take an oath is going to be cut off according to that same oath. Do any of you have any idea what are your thoughts that what this could be referring to? We got time. Oh, good. Well, everybody jump out there at one time. And again, that verse 3 is referring to the flying roll. The flying roll is going over and bringing forth a curse. You saying pledging allegiance to the beast is what come to mind. Maybe so, maybe not. Let's see what everybody else has to say. Or anybody else should have to say, I should say. I give you about 45 more seconds, maybe a whole minute. Nobody else want to roll the dice? Or are you worried about, I don't know what I'm going to say is right, when it ain't even about all that? Well, let's look at it. First and foremost, let's look at something the Lord said. Let's take a look at Matthew 5. Could we look in Ecclesiastes 4? Yeah, we could. Maybe we will. The Lord knows. I'll ask my wife here, Deidre, if we read this Matthew 5, would you like for us to read the corresponding place in the book of Ecclesiastes? My wife has confirmed that is what shall be done. Matthew chapter 5, verse 33. Again, you have heard that it has been told of them, said by them of old time, you shall not forswear yourself, but you shall perform unto Yahuah your oaths. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by Shamahim, for it is Elohim's throne. Remember, right? The word is in earth as it is in heaven. My witness is in heaven, and my record is on high. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by Shamahim, for it is Elohim's throne, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Neither shall you swear by your head, because you cannot make one hair white or black. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than these come of evil. Now, see, Sean, that's where it's going to come in to what you look. But it's not necessarily the pledging of allegiance, but the making of an oath. You know what I'm talking about? The taking of an oath to enter into a covenant with a despicable one. Come over here to the book of Ecclesiastes, if you would. That's what some people be like. I remember dude like, see, how y'all follow this Jesus, this Yahushua? He tell you not to swear, Yahuwah say swear. And see, they wasn't paying attention. Let me do this here right. Let me come over here to Ecclesiastes 8:1. I think the other part of Ecclesiastes that I desire is in chapter 5. Let me see what I'm spending the page. Yeah, there it is. Let the Lord be praised. But let's go ahead and deal with this Ecclesiastes 8:1 first. I want you to see the combination of the two. You understand? So who is as the wise man and who know the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom make his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. I counsel you to keep the king's commandment, and that in regard of the oath of Elohim. Be not hasty to go out of his sight. Stand not in any evil thing, for he do whatsoever he please. Where the word of a king is power, there is power. And who may say unto him, what do you? Now see, look at what he said, right? I counsel you to keep the king. Let me go ahead and give it to you in the language, man. Let me just go ahead and get. We ain't talked about this here in a long time. We done dealt with that verse 4 before. But I want you to look at what he tell you. He tell you that I counsel you. Now that I counsel, it ain't there. The king's commandment, that's pay. That's mouth. So guess what? The mouth of the Melech will guard. And in that regard of your oath, now, of course, you know, oath here is Shabur. That is an oath, a curse, a testing of innocence, or oath of Yahuah. And he said, I want you to go ahead in regard of that oath of Elohim. I want you to attest. If you guards the king's words, you will attest unto Elohim. When you do this, you will not go out of his sight. That takes us back to Proverbs chapter 4. You won't have to do this. When do you take the oath of Elohim? Y'all already know. Who can tell me when the oath of Elohim was taken in the law? Let me just do this here, right? I know I was late because I got in late. And I had to shower before we did what we had to do. So I'm not going to cut your show. Yeah, we had to press a little longer, man. We had a job. We only had one day to do it. Putting up doggone plywood subfloor. That John wasn't no punk neither. I'll tell you that. And of course, you know not to stand. And thing here is the bar. So do not stand in any disagreeable word. Don't do it. Because you know this man can do whatever he wants to do. And of course, you know whether the bar of Amalek, there will be power. Power is shilton. And we'll probably come back to that because shilton translates to mastery. And that means a continent. Do any of you know what a continent is? Deidre, do you know what a continent is? I thought so. Well, any of you dudes, if you spend time studying Freemasons and all this here, you should know what a continent is. And praise the Lord, it take you right back to the reference to Isaiah 52. Who on here knows what a continent is? If you don't know and you just want to take a guess at it, you know, put your guess in the chat. The oath part? Oh, no. Not on the Ecclesiastes 8 part. That's not in the law. That's in Matthew. I'm talking about the oath part is in the law. The oath of Elohim, that's in the law. A continent. No, a continent is not a servant. Continent is spelled Potentatate. Maybe this will help you out. Somebody, if you, especially if you're familiar with what you call them boys, the Shriners. We're talking about somebody, Grand Imperial Continent. Yeah, that's more accurate. Grand Imperial Continent. I thought y'all knew about that. Well, you could use that, student, but yeah, that's really not more like this here, right? A continent is a ruler. A continent is a ruler. And more specifically, an autocratic one. And if you don't know what autocratic means, it means he moves with autonomy. That means he answers to no one. So that's a sovereign who wields great power or sway. You know what I'm saying? And just so you can know, synonyms for continent are monarch, sovereign, overlord, king, master, ruler, dictator, despot, autocrat, and satrap. In modern times, you could probably say that Saddam Hussein could have been considered to be a continent because he was considered to be a dictator. You know what I'm saying? But a continent is a king. So when you're turning around and you're looking at that word that's being here, and y'all willing, we're gonna come back to this. Shilton, that's mastery or a continent. That's the mastery of kingly power. You know what I'm talking about? About 5 chapters down, Darius. The oath is when he said, let's look at the oath in the law, the oath of Elohim in the law. Exodus chapter 24. But I can see why you would have Exodus 19 and 8. We're going to go ahead and grab it because you dropped it on in there. Exodus 19 and 8. I'll pick it up at verse 5 if you would. The only reason why the Exodus there is because that's when the covenant was actually sealed. You know what I'm talking about? He brought them up to the mount, yet they hadn't even heard from Yahuwah yet. That's why me personally, I would go with the Exodus 24 before this one. But it's true. It still works. Now, therefore, this is Exodus 19:5. Now, therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be unto me as a kingdom of priests and a Kadash nation. These are the words which you shall speak unto the sons of Yasharal. Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words which Yahuwah commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahuwah has spoken we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto Yahuwah. Yahuwah said unto Moses, lo, I come unto you in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you and believe you forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto Yahuwah. Let's come on back. You know, it's funny, man. My man was talking about dudes still arguing about having sex on the Sabbath. I'd be like, boy, these boy crazy, man. When Yahuwah told them, boy, man, don't even come before me for 3 days, man. Don't touch your wife, man. Wash your clothes, wash your body. Don't come up around me like that. You know what I'm talking about? But Exodus 24, man, verse 3. I just funny that dudes still be arguing. The stuff that people be arguing about, man. Like, what's the point of that? You know what I'm saying? What's the point of that? Why is that such an issue for you that you need to prove if that's right? This is what people mind be at. See, this is the thing you have to pay attention to. The man told you the abundance of the heart, the mouth speak. You can't get caught up because they mentioned in the words of Yahuwah and think that's the abundance of their heart. You have to pay attention to a nigga conversation, the tenor of his conversation, the direction of his conversation, the topics and thesis of his conversation. You know what I'm talking about? Why is that so important to you? Why is that matter right there so important to you? Remember, he said they strain at a gnat. You know what I'm talking about? And miss the point of the whole play. You don't want to do something and miss the point. Exodus 24:3. Moses came and told the people all the words of Yahuwah and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which Yahuwah have said, we will do. Moses wrote all the words of Yahuwah and rose up early in the morning and built an altar under the hill, 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Yasharal. He sent young men of the sons of Yasharal, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto Yahuwah. And Moses took half the blood and put it in the basins, and half the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people. And they said, all that Yahuwah has said, we will do and be obedient. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahuwah have made with you concerning all these words. That's where you sit back and you look at, here go the oath of Elohim. Now, again, where the word of the king is, there is power, there is mastery. There's mastery there. And that takes us back again to the self-control. When you have self-control, you have mastery. And at that point, you can definitely say that you would be ready to be a king because you'll be able to rule over something because you have mastery over self. See, matter of fact, it's a mention where Paul say, we strive, but he that strive, you know what I'm saying, have to have the masteries. Come over here. I think it's in the epistle of Timothy. And then we'll come back to Ecclesiastes 5. Of course, we're not going to get through all of Zechariah 5 tonight. I never had any intentions of doing so. So I just want that to be known. 2 Timothy chapter 2. I'll pick it up at verse 1. Because I knew I was going to explain it in depth. And then it was my fault. The trap will be open tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for Purim. Let that be known. Trap going to be open Friday night at the regular time. Trap going to be open Saturday afternoon, regular time. Trap ain't going to be open Saturday night, though. So you got 4 days in a row. Tonight, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday afternoon. Y'all will and I remember to put it in the community tab on top of that. Matter of fact, I can do it right now. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 1. My apologies. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 1. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 1. Therefore, my son, be strong in the mercy that is in Mashiach Yahushua, and the things that you have heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit you to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. You therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua HaMashiach. He's referring to preachers. Let that be known. That it's not a conversation for everybody. He's telling, see, you're not a soldier if you ain't been hired in the army of the Lord. If that man ain't gave you no ministry, you were not in that ministry of forth is serving him in the capacity that he wants you to serve him in. Remember, he say, whosoever receive whomsoever I send, receive me. So when he sends you out, and of course you should know this because he said, teach this to faithful men, and he needs to be able to endure as a good soldier. No man that war entangle himself with the affairs of life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. See, when you have been chosen to be a soldier in the army of the Lord, to minister and to be a part of his host, you can't get caught up with the cares and affairs of this life. This is part of the reason why Peter said, we forsaken all, what shall we get? Because he told his apostles, come follow me. That's why he told Buddy, hey man, putting your hand to the plow and looking back, you ain't fit for the kingdom. If he done told you to be a soldier, then you got to be able to get ready to go to war. You know what I'm talking about? That's why he told him, take you that sword of the Ruach, man, get your armor on, all this here, take that with you. Because you going into battle, you're going to have to be able to quench the fiery darts of the wicked. You're going to have to be able to endure the wiles of the adversary. You got an enemy taking us back to what we started at in Psalms 35:1. Y'all willing, everything going to come back in full circle and make perfect sense if the Lord allows. Verse 4, no man that war entangle himself with the affairs of life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. If a man also strive for masteries, yet he is not crowned, except he strive lawfully. See, if you want to seek to have that shield tone, you're going to have to seek it to do it according to that word to be able to execute that, even though you had not been crowned. There's no way you're going to be able to do it except you do it according to what's right, according to Yahuah, not according to yourself. That's why where the word of the king is, there's power. And that is why don't be hasty to go out of his sight. Don't be dealing with no evil words, because that man going to do what he want to do. You know what I'm talking about? Just keep the commandments in regard to the oath of Elohim. You realize when you went and got baptized, you entered into an oath with the man. You didn't swear by heaven out of your mouth, but you swore by heaven by your actions you was going to live for him. You understand? Come on back over here to Ecclesiastes chapter 5, if you would. I need to get back to Zechariah. Keep your foot when you go into the house of Elohim and be more ready to hear. See, that's a lot of biggest people problem. When you step into the house of Elohim, when you come to hear the word, more people they not ready to listen. They're not ready to guard that man's word. Let's look and see what that means when he tell you need to be ready to hear. First and foremost, keeping your foot, you need to guard your foot, guard your steps when you go in this man's house. Being ready is karab, that is near, place, of time, personal relationship, kinship, allied, approach, neighbor, next, more ready, things of that nature. There go your Christian line right there. I have a personal relationship with Jesus. That's what they tell you. I have a personal relationship with Jesus. Now, be more ready to hear, which is Shamar. Be more ready to hear with the intent to obey. More people, when they come, you ain't coming to hear no word. That's why the man say, he that have an ear, let him hear. More people ain't coming to hear. He said, be more ready to hear. Listen what he said, than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Anyone know what a sacrifice of a fool is? Who knows what a sacrifice of a fool is? Goodness gracious. Don't nobody know what a sacrifice of a fool is? According to the text, not your personal thoughts, perspectives, or opinions. Let me add that caveat in there also. Any of you know what a sacrifice of a fool is? Well, let me share one with you. Proverbs 15 and 8, if you would. Just because we about on time. We almost at the 9 o'clock hour, which means we got to get off here. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to Yahuwah. What is the sacrifice of the wicked? He said, you know what? He said, the sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. Or no, that's not it. 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 I'm saying it wrong. I'm saying it wrong. That's not it. That is not it. Make that Proverbs 21 and 27. Well, it was it. I was going to say it right. I thought I couldn't say it wrong. Let the Lord be his thing. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. How much more when he bring it with a wicked mind? So the sacrifice of a fool that they don't even consider that they do evil is that these people thinking that they doing certain things. Remember he told you, people feel like, hey, man, I tithe. I do this, I do that. And you're thinking that you're making these sacrifices, but your mind evil as hell. And you don't believe. And you don't believe. You know what I'm talking about? You don't even consider. You don't even weigh in your heart that you're doing evil. He said you better pay attention to the type of stuff that this man say. And consider means yada, which is to know. You don't even know it. You don't even perceive it. Verse 2, be not rash. This is Ecclesiastes 5:2, by the way. Be not rash with your mouth, and let your heart not be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in Shamahim, and you upon the earth. Therefore, let your words be few. That's why he told you don't come to him like the heathens with your multitude of words when you pray. For a dream come through the multitude of business, and a fool's voice is known by a multitude of words. When you vow a vow unto Elohim, defer not to pay it. For he have no pleasure in fools. Pay that which you have vowed. That man say, boy, if you enter into an oath before Elohim and you vow a vow before him and you don't pay it, that man liken you to a fool. He don't delight in you because you done told him you were going to do something and you didn't do it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Better is it that you should not vow than you should vow and not pay. Suffer not your mouth to cause your flesh to sin, neither say you before the Malachim, it was an error. Wherefore should Elohim be angry at your voice and destroy the work of your hands? For the multitude of dreams and many words are also diverse vanities, but fear you Elohim. And y'all willing, we'll come back and deal with the nuances that's contained and stuff, and that stuff he was talking about. But that's what happens when you looking at making the oath, and these people swearing by this flying roll, ABC. And then they stealing his words. Jeremiah 23 for the stealing of the words. Jeremiah 23, 25. And then we'll come back to Zechariah 5, and I think that's verse 4. And we'll start right there in the conclusion of that chapter. Y'all willing, we'll finish it up. Maybe we'll have some interweaving of the book of Esther on tomorrow. Maybe we won't. Most of y'all know that just because it's Purim doesn't mean that, we just got to go read the book of Esther like everybody else do. Or when it's Passover, we got to read and do the same stuff every year like everybody else. That's not what we do here. Jeremiah 23 and 25. I have heard what the prophet said that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophecy lies? Yea, they are prophets of the deceit of their own heart, which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal. The prophet that have a dream, let him tell a dream. He that have my word, let him speak my word faithfully. What is the chaff to the wheat, saith Yahuwah? Is not my word like as a fire, saith Yahuwah, and like a hammer that break the rock in pieces? Therefore, behold, I am against the prophet, saith Yahuwah, that steal my words, every one from his neighbor. Now, see, these boys that sit here and tell you, see, that's that Martin Luther King. No, that's people who knew the word. That man said they were stealing my words from the people. They were that goes into they're not seeking to enter into the kingdom of Shamahim, and they're not suffering other men to enter in. That's what you got to pay attention to when you're talking about stealing the man's words. See, they don't want to talk about that. See, them boys don't want to talk about that, man. They don't want to talk that they taking that man's word and people not getting what they supposed to get. Come over here to Zechariah chapter 5, verse 4, man. We rock out, slide out on this note. I'll read verse 3 one more time, though. Then he said unto me, this is the curse that go over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that steals shall be cut off on this side according to it. Everyone that swears shall be cut off on that side according to it. I will bring it forth, saith Yahuwah of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and to him that swear falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and it shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. Now I'm gonna leave you and let you think on that one, because then he say that curse is going to enter into the house of the thief and the house of him that swear falsely by his name. But we'll say hallelujah for Yahushua in the word right there, man. We stop right there. I appreciate y'all time this evening. I bless y'all. Have the also Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Yahuwah willing, man, we're going to pick it up tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for our observation of Purim. Of course, Shabbat, regular scheduled time, 8 o'clock, man. Pop it off, regular scheduled time, Saturday afternoon, between 2:30 and 3 o'clock, man. Make it do what it do. Again, I appreciate y'all, man. Yahuwah willing, man, on tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? We'll let it look, you know what I'm saying? Open it up, man, and put some work on the street. Y'all willing to that time.